So first one here comes from Jan Foster. It says, which track would you like to see get championship weekend?
Oh, man. I want to say this reminds me of something I saw on social media, which was a really, really good idea. They should take this Atlanta race and everything we've seen this weekend and make it the cutoff and move Daytona back to July 4th. But I heard that the city of Daytona does not want the race back on July 4th.
Oh,
No.
I didn't know that.
What?
They can fill the hotels
With
in that
spring break,
town
yeah, with summer.
with July 4th folks without a race, and that race fills those same hotels on another weekend.
Then can we get the hotel prices to come down then?
So the town gets a double double bang when the race isn't on the 4th, right? You understand, Mike?
I understand.
So, unfortunately, now that they've learned or realized that, I don't know that Daytona would ever get back to the 4th.
Boy, this Atlanta race is a cutoff. Would be something.
It would.
Though. God almighty.
No, I will say that I do not think that Atlanta, Daytona, or Talladega should ever host the final race of the season to crown the champion, nor should any road course. What is the perfect track? I don't know if Phoenix is. I almost miss how, are we really, really excited to see this next-gen car race at Homestead. And if it's a good race and the cars look fun to watch, there's some good – I would love Homestead to go back to being the race at the end of the year. It was great weather. I know we'd have rain from time to time, but it was in a great part of the country during that time of year, and typically we would come in early and go down to the Keys, or a lot of teams would go to Miami. So there's a lot to do in celebration pre or post race. I don't know. I thought the energy there was always pretty good around the stage and around the celebration of the champion. You had the truck, Xfinity, Cup, all right there going through that whole experience night after night. So it was a good vibe. I don't know what it felt like across the television or at home on the couch, but being there at Homestead, it felt like a pretty decent fit. Yeah, I'd have to toss up some other ideas. Vegas might be a pretty cool way to end the year. You're in Vegas. You could go right to the banquet literally days later if you wanted to. Nashville, maybe.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. You could, so if you were racing in Vegas, you could have a big, you could celebrate. There's a lot of things in Vegas that you could be doing, and then on the way home, you could stop into Nashville, have your champion celebration, then go home.
Just have it in Nashville. The good one.
Have the race in Nashville and
and then have a media blitz, like a few day media blitz.
Celebration of the champion all in one.
Does it get cold in Nashville in early November though? Like, I don't actually know, because I know it can be hot and cold here. So like, could it be like pretty cold?
Nashville Fairgrounds, man.
There you go.
You'd be fine.
It doesn't get cold at Nashville Fairgrounds.
You'd be fine.
The action's so hot.
If it was at a short track, you'd be fine being bundled up.
All that body heat. that condensed.
Yeah, if people go down to the Snowball Derby and basically wear snowsuits, I think they can handle Nashville in November. Next one here comes from Tim Sweatich. Says, there's been a rumor in my little community that you were once snowmobiling in the West Upper Peninsula of Michigan with Steve Park, and you stopped into the Mosquito Inn for a beer or two. 2 decades later, we're still talking about it. Did this ever happen?
It never happened.
I think you'd remember a place called the Mosquito Inn.
Yeah. Or snowmobiling in the Western Upper Peninsula, so,
If he would have said that did happen, I would have been pissed that we didn't bring that up when Steve Park was here on the show. I would have to think that something like that would have been brought up in the interview.
I apologize that it's been a rumor for all those years, but it didn't happen.
You have a doppelganger
That's
out
funny.
there. This one comes from Arthur. It says, if you had a chance to get behind the wheel of other types of race cars, not in the race, but just to maybe take some laps at North Wilkesboro, would you? And if so, what one would you like to consider?
I think it'd be fun to drive a modified around there. If I could have been there during the test when Bobby Labonte was there, I'd have gladly jumped in his car and went for a couple laps. I've just never sat in a modified and drove laps in one, so I think that'd be fun to do at North Wilkesboro. Obviously, taking a next-gen car around there just to see how that would feel to drive would be neat. Any car, honestly. I mean, that's a fun track, and worn out, slick, slow. That's perfect for me at this age. And so I'd have fun driving just about anything around there.
And this last one comes from Wolfgang, and this just kind of runs along with the trend of we always giggle that Earnhardt fans know more about your life than you do. This is from Wolfgang. It says, on the final run of the 2004 Daytona 500, you had a red left front tire.
Yeah.
But in every other image throughout Speed Weeks, all of the tires are black. Do you know if another set of tires was bought from another team, or did the wheel just happen to be painted red?
No, it came from Jeremy Mayfield's team. Didn't it, Mike?
I think so.
Yeah.
It definitely came from someone. I didn't remember Mayfield.
It was absolutely from Ray Evernham's Dodges, and it was one of those cars, and I don't know if it was Mayfield's, I believe. The handling at the race at that time with that track was really, really important, just as important as the speed of your car. We were getting spring rates about, the tire sidewall had a spring rate that Goodyear would measure, and we would get those numbers. And so you could basically, you couldn't adjust stagger, but you would take the tires and try to keep the spring rates of the sidewalls all pretty much the same for every set. And we had, if you had 10 sets of tires for the race, you'd have 8 sets that were really close, and then you'd have this, a couple tires you just couldn't do anything with. And so that'd throw off 1 or 2 sets. And so when someone would fall out of the race, you'd go up and down pit road and go, hey, man, you got a left rear with a 1,500 spring rate sidewall? Yeah, well, here, can we have it? We'll buy it. And so we'll take it and put it with our 9th set, and now we got 9 good sets, right? And so in that particular race, as we come down toward the last few sets of tires, you'd see some oddball-colored wheels on some cars that were trying to match their sets more perfectly to keep the handling and the balance of the car similar as the set before.
And we actually do have one more for this week's Ask Junior. Comes from Dave Metz. It says, which fictional crew chief would you rather have on your pit box? Lugs Harvey or Harry Hogg?
Okay. Lugs was in Stroker Ace, and he was obviously Stroker Ace's crew chief. Harry Hogg was in Days of Thunder, and he was Cole Trickles. I'd go with Harry because Harry seemed to have everything figured out, seemed to be a good teacher, mentor type of guy.
Yeah.
Lugs was funny. I don't know that his cars were all that great. I don't know that he was much of a teacher or mentor. Keep you in line kind of guy. Kind of more, he'd let you kind of go your own way, and that might not be the way you need to go.
Harry would hire you a stripper.
This is true.
That's true.
If that means anything to anybody.
If that's in your wavering
If
decision.
If that's in your contract.
Whew, yikes. That is it for this week's Ask Junior.
All right, everybody, that's some good stuff, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in and supporting our social media handles at Dirty Mo Media. Hey, if you like that conversation, you got to listen to the entire podcast. The Dale Jr. Download is available on all major podcast platforms.